Hello everyone, what's up? Today we're going to be looking at why you're so tired and how you can get super energized. What I wanted to do is give you a simple mind map of why you might be tired and how you can find ways in which you can really bring energy into your life. So this is a really simple tool to understand where you might be lacking energy and how you can bring more into your life. The framework fits into a really nice acronym, PIES. This is P-I-E-S. P is the physical body, I is the intellectual body, E is the emotional body, and S is the spiritual body. And luckily, they are in the right order to think about why I am tired. So the first thing that might not come as much of a surprise is that the P, the physical body, is the most important, okay? The physical body is broken down into 3 pillars of life, which is your sleep, your exercise, and your nutrition. Sleep, exercise, nutrition. So your sleep is so important. If you've ever been on a holiday with your friends and gone out for like a week's holiday, and then by the 4th day after you've been boozing and partying and having fun, you're just exhausted and you've not slept a wink, and you get up and you're surrounded by your friends, it's sunny, it's beautiful, and you've got activities to do, and you just don't want to be there, you just can't enjoy yourself because you're so tired. That is what I mean by sleep. Sleep undermines all of the work that you do. So if you're not sleeping well, then you are not going to be able to bring energy into your life. This was doubly reinstated when I spoke to this guy about how he helps obese people lose weight. And I asked him what was the thing that made the biggest difference in his work. What I was really surprised about is that he told me before they go into the routine, before they go into the diet, focuses on them sleeping well, because without that, not only is your mindset affected, but you will not lose any weight either. So sleep has loads of knock-on effects, and it's really important that we get this down to a T. My top tips on sleep are no screens 30 minutes to an hour before you sleep. Try and keep lights down to a minimum. Start using candles 10 minutes before you go to sleep. Make sure that the bed you're sleeping in isn't too hot or too cold for you. Make sure you haven't got any exciting stimulus before you go to bed. So like Game of Thrones films, Rambo, conversations with your ex about how you were a bad person. I don't know why you'd be doing that before bed. And finally, writing a few things down that are on your mind. The second of the 3 pillars of your physical body is exercise. And this is super important. If there's one thing that you can do to change your world right now, it's about starting an exercise routine. Just about 30 minutes every 1 or 2 days is absolutely spot on. If this was sold as a pill, it would be the most effective prevention against depression, obesity, anxiety. It's really effective. And what can happen is a really funny thing where we're tired and so we don't feel like exercising, but actually exercise brings energy. Exercise makes us feel more energized, and it releases a bunch of serotonin and endorphins. So go and make sure you get a few minutes of exercise every day, get your heart rate up and get a bit sweaty. Third and final pillar of the physical body is your nutrition. There's so much information on nutrition that it's really difficult to know what's right. There's 2 simple rules that I follow which have really helped me in my nutrition. One is just common sense. If it comes from a packet, if it looks quite sugary, if it's shiny, if it looks processed, don't eat too much of it, simple as that. If it's more raw, then that's probably quite good for me. The other thing is make sure you're not overeating, because that's one way in which you're going to feel really heavy. You will know if you really ask yourself. Listen to your body. So that's the first energy body that we have to consider before we consider all of the rest. Before you go into all of these thoughts about how life is rubbish and whether this is the partner for me and am I doing the right thing, just stop yourself. Ask, did I sleep well recently? Have I exercised within the last 2 days? And am I eating well? If one of those things is out of whack, look to change that before you start to solve anything else. And you'll be so surprised about actually how effective that is. That was the P of PIES. That's your sleep, your exercise, and your nutrition. The I of PIES is the intellectual body, your mind. So this energy source is probably best defined as what the Buddhists tried to resolve, which is the relationship we have with the world and the way we see things. What this is about is the story that your mind tells you. And so sometimes our mind chirps in and says, you're rubbish at that. Oh, you know you're gonna fail at this. You're ugly. Whatever it is, the mind has a way of really making us terrified of what's going to happen in reality as it is. And so this is about noticing what your mind is telling you, taking a step back and understanding you are not your mind. It's just a narrative that happens like a radio in the back of the room, and understanding that you can separate yourself and actually go about life in a more helpful way. Recreate that by writing down how you truly feel about life in a positive, expressive, deliberate way. Essentially what's happening here is that we're fighting with reality. We're scared of what reality is and we don't want it a certain way. So the best thing we can do here is think about the anxiety, think about the fear behind the anxiety, then ask ourselves what I need to do to mitigate against this anxiety. Then we can write the worst thing that would happen based on this fear and then all the ways in which you'd cope. So if that reality was to come true, then you'd know, okay, I'd do these things, and yes, maybe it'd be painful and expensive and time consuming, but I would survive and it would be okay. That way then we can find peace with reality as it is and all the ways our mind tells us that it's going to be bad. The third energy body is all about your emotional energy. And so this is in two parts. Your connection to the people around you. So do you have friends that you can really rely on, that you can really be yourself around, that you can share your struggles and also celebrate your victories? Are these the people that you enjoy and you can banter with and play with and have fun? Or are these people that kind of suck energy from you? You kind of have to put on a front to be around them. You have to curb what you say sometimes. Think about the friends that you have. Do they energize you or do they de-energize you? In good quality relationships, you'll feel heard, you'll feel accepted, you'll feel like you can offload some of the stuff that you have without burdening others. The second part of the emotional body is play. And this is something that's really, really missed out on in our world of productivity and achievement, doing things deliberately, getting to an objective, finishing it and carrying on going with the next one. And sometimes we just miss doing things for the fun of them. What intrinsically motivating things are you doing in your life? Things that you just love to do for the sake of doing them, whether you're good at them or not, it doesn't really matter. Your hobbies, maybe it's a creative pursuit, maybe it's arts and crafts, maybe it's dance, maybe it's singing, maybe it's going for a walk, maybe it's rock climbing, maybe it's playing sport, whatever it is, find those things that you really enjoy doing and go out of them and just have that space for you to not have to think about what's next, the to-do list, who I need to be at this point, who I need to see, what I need to make happen. So the two aspects of the emotional body are your connection to others and play. Then finally, the spiritual body. The spiritual body consists of two main things. This is your self-growth. Have you got a vision for you and who you want to be in any given moment? Who would you like to express in your work, with your friends, with your family? And are you moving towards that? Are you developing yourself in a way that excites you? It's really important that we have a plan for what we want to do and who we want to become. And that feels really exciting and positive when we're taking steps towards being a more expanded version of ourselves. The second thing is about your contribution to others. Who am I turning up for? Who needs me right now? And without this, then we can lose a little bit of sense of belonging because we're not able to give love back. We're only able to receive it. So ask yourself, how can I make a positive difference to somebody's life or maybe the planet in any given moment? This is often thought about as, well, my work's just not meaningful. And you go, oh, yeah, well, work's just not meaningful, so done. It's shit and it's rubbish and I'm gonna be depressed at work. Challenge yourself. Can you turn up for a colleague? Can I make somebody's day by making coffee? Can I make a training session for one of the younger people in the organization to try and bring them up a little bit? The small ways in which you can contribute don't necessarily have to be directly related to the work you're doing, but can be in and around it. You can also contribute to your kids, your partner, your family, to the people on the street. Do it in a conscious way that brings joy into your life. When you give somebody a compliment, more often than not, you'll feel the rewards of that compliment as well as that other person. So you can ask yourself, who am I going to surprise today? Wake up in the morning, decide on one thing that you're going to do for somebody that's going to make their day, whether it's sending a text to a loved one, maybe it's complimenting a colleague on their work, maybe it's just smiling and saying hello to somebody on the street. So there you have it. PIES, P-I-E-S, physical, intellectual, emotional, spiritual. These are your four energy bodies which you can find ways in which you're lacking energy and how to reinvigorate yourself. I hope this was helpful and useful for you. And if you have any questions or want to expand on it and maybe spot some places that I haven't quite talked about, give me a message. I'd love to hear from you. Peace out.